She thought she was going to the mall. It was a Friday afternoon in a quiet suburb outside Dallas. Tree-lined streets, 2-car garages, security cameras on every porch, the kind of place where parents say, "Nothing like that happens here." Her name wasn't important. She was 15. Honor roll student, played soccer, shared TikTok dances with her friends. Her mother tracked her phone. Her school had anti-drug assemblies. The neighborhood had a watch program. And still, it happened. According to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, human trafficking is one of the fastest-growing criminal enterprises in the United States. In recent nationwide operations, the agency has identified hundreds of victims in a single week, many of them minors. These were not hidden in distant countries. They were found in American suburbs, apartment complexes, highway motels, and private homes. Most people imagine trafficking as chains and shipping containers. In reality, it often starts with a message. "Hey, you're really pretty. You model. I could help you make money." The first contact came through social media. The Polaris Project, which operates the U.S. National Human Trafficking Hotline, has reported that traffickers increasingly use platforms like Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok to recruit. In recent years, thousands of trafficking cases have included some form of online recruitment. It's faster, quieter, invisible to parents standing in the kitchen. He said he was 19, said he worked in music, sent photos of rented cars and borrowed jewelry, told her she was different. Within weeks, she was sneaking out to meet him near the mall parking lot. This is how it works in suburbia. Not with force at first, but with affection. Law enforcement calls it Romeo pimping, emotional grooming, isolation. The trafficker becomes boyfriend, protector, provider. He listens when she fights with her parents. He says he understands when she feels invisible at school. He creates a world where she feels chosen, and then comes the pivot. A sudden emergency. A bill he can't pay. A debt. A favor. If you love me, according to data compiled by the Polaris Project, a significant portion of sex trafficking victims in the U.S. are American citizens. Not foreign nationals smuggled across borders, but girls born in the same hospitals as their classmates. The average age of entry into commercial sexual exploitation is often reported between 14 and 16 years old. 14. While parents debate curfews, someone else is rewriting their daughter's future. The first time, she cried. He apologized afterward. Bought her fast food. Promised it wouldn't happen again. It did. Soon, her phone was no longer hers. He kept it for safety. He drove her to motels along highways, the cut-through neighborhoods where families were eating dinner. The rooms were booked online under fake names. Payments came through apps, digital trails buried beneath usernames and burner accounts. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has repeatedly warned that trafficking is no longer confined to street corners. It thrives in online classified ads, encrypted messaging apps, and private residencies. In some operations, agents have recovered victims from houses that looked identical to every other home on the block. White fence, blue shutters, closed garage door. Inside, a locked bedroom. Polaris has reported thousands of trafficking situations every year through hotline calls and texts. In some recent annual reports, sex trafficking cases made up the majority of those situations, and those are only the ones reported. Experts believe the real number is far higher. She stopped going to school regularly, told her mother she was staying at a friend's house. When teachers asked questions, she said she was tired. No one saw bruises. There were none at first. Control doesn't always leave fingerprints. It shows up in passwords changed, in threats whispered, in photographs taken just in case, in the constant reminder, no one will believe you. In many suburban cases, traffickers use shame as a weapon more powerful than chains. The victim believes she chose it, that she can't explain it without being blamed, that she will destroy her family if the truth comes out. Meanwhile, buyers scroll from living rooms just miles away. The demand side of trafficking is rarely shown in headlines, yet without buyers, there is no market. Federal data shows regular sting operations resulting in dozens of arrests in single metropolitan areas. teachers, engineers, retirees, men who return home before midnight. The suburb stays quiet. In 2023 and 2024, multiple coordinated operations across U.S. cities led to the identification of hundreds of trafficking victims and the arrest of suspected traffickers and buyers. Many of those victims were under 18. Many were recruited online. Many came from what authorities described as stable households. There's a myth that trafficking targets only the runaway, the homeless, the already broken. Reality is colder. Traffickers look for vulnerability, not poverty alone. A fight with parents, a need for validation, depression, a dream of fame, a promise of quick money. Social media has widened the hunting ground from street blocks to entire digital worlds. She tried to leave once. He reminded her of the photos, the videos, the messages he could send to her father, the lies he could tell. He said she owed him for rent, for food, for protection. Debt bondage is one of the most common control tactics. Documented by anti-trafficking organizations, the amount is often invented. The interest never ends. By the time authorities found her, it wasn't because someone noticed screams. It was because a tip came through a hotline. A friend saw something online that didn't feel right. The recovery was not cinematic. There was no slow-motion reunion, no swelling music. Just fluorescent lights, paperwork, interviews, questions asked gently and repeatedly. She didn't call herself a victim at first. Many don't. It can take months, sometimes years, for survivors to understand what happened to them was exploitation, not love. The suburbs did not change overnight. The mall stayed open. The soccer games continued. The neighbors still waved across driveways. But somewhere behind another closed door, another girl is answering a message that begins with, "You're beautiful." Human trafficking in America is not a foreign headline. It is woven into highways, smartphones, and quiet neighborhoods. The statistics from the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Polaris Project do not describe shadows in distant lands. They describe this, a country where exploitation can hide behind Wi-Fi signals and manicured lawns, where the average age of entry is still where recruitment can begin with a heart emoji. The most dangerous lie suburbia tells itself is this: not here. But trafficking does not need dark alleys. It only needs silence.